Welcome, dear friends, to a journey through the world of Fallout, a series that has woven its story into the fabric of countless imaginations. Born from the ashes of a world destroyed by nuclear war, it has become a beloved universe filled with stories of survival, hope, and resilience. Tonight, we will slowly wander through the gentle remnants of this post apocalyptic world, learning quiet, fascinating facts about its characters, landscapes, and the echoes of a world that could have been. In each fact, we'll uncover a piece of history, a moment of wonder, or a hidden detail, all while softly drifting through the rich lore of Fallout. Whether you've ventured through the wasteland before, or you're simply looking for a peaceful escape, tonight we'll step together into this universe of quiet discovery. Now take a moment to settle in. Allow your body to find a gentle rhythm, your breathing slow and steady. Feel the warmth of the night surrounding you, and let your mind softly ease into this calm space. With each word, let your thoughts wander further, your body growing more at ease. You are safe here, in this quiet corner of the universe, where only calm and comfort can follow. And if you enjoy drifting through stories like this, you're welcome to subscribe and softly tell me where you're listening from tonight. Let the night embrace you and allow us to begin. Fact 1. The world of Fallout is built around the idea of a post-apocalyptic future where humanity struggles to rebuild itself in the wake of a nuclear war. The story begins in 2077, a year that saw the eruption of a global conflict known as the Great War, where nuclear weapons ravaged the Earth. The devastating bombs altered the planet forever, leaving behind a barren landscape known as the Wasteland. The people who survived were those fortunate enough to take shelter in underground vaults designed by the Vault Tech Corporation, setting the stage for the Fallout saga. Fact 2. One of the most iconic features of the Fallout series is its use of vaults, underground shelters meant to protect survivors from the nuclear fallout. While many vaults were designed with the best intentions, they often became experiments in social engineering. Some vaults were used for research on psychological and biological experiments, testing the limits of human endurance, while others were simply built to protect the elite. Each vault tells a unique, sometimes tragic story of the survivors who emerged, forever changed by the horrors they faced beneath the Earth's surface. Fact 3. The Fallout universe has an iconic art style that blends 1950s Americana with a dystopian future. This aesthetic was inspired by the post-World War II era, a time when optimism for technological progress met a deep fear of nuclear warfare. The game's world is filled with retro-futuristic designs, from the golden age of advertisements to the sleek, chrome-like power armor that appears in later installments. This contrast between cheerful, optimistic visuals and the grim reality of the post-apocalypse creates a haunting yet familiar atmosphere for the player to explore. Fact 4. The Brotherhood of Steel, one of Fallout's most iconic factions, is a group of technologically advanced warriors who seek to preserve and control pre-war technology. They operate under a strict code, believing that technology should be used responsibly to prevent humanity from repeating the mistakes of the past. However, their methods often clash with other factions, and their obsession with hoarding technology has made them both revered and feared. The Brotherhood's deep connection to the remnants of the past offers players a glimpse into the complex relationship between progress and power in the wasteland. Fact 5. The Vault Boy, the cheerful mascot of Vault Tech, is a symbol that has become inseparable from the Fallout series. His smiling face and thumbs up gesture are featured on everything from advertisements to Pip-Boy interfaces. Despite the post apocalyptic setting, Vault Boy represents an era of hope and optimism, even if it's ultimately a facade. His presence in the game is a reminder of the world that was lost, a world where bright eyed enthusiasm met an inevitable tragic end. The juxtaposition of this cheerful figure against the wasteland's bleak backdrop is one of the series' most striking contrasts. Fact 6. In the Fallout universe, radiation plays a significant role in both the setting and the story. While radiation is often associated with sickness and death, it also plays a curious part in the evolution of the creatures that populate the wasteland. Mutants, such as the terrifying supermutants, were created by the Forced Evolutionary Virus, FAV, a bioweapon developed by the US government. These mutations are a direct result of radiation exposure, showing how the Fallout world is defined by a strange, dark relationship with the environment, one where destruction can give birth to new, horrific life forms. Fact 7. The Fallout series features a vast array of companions, each bringing their own unique personalities and stories to the journey. From the fierce and loyal Dogmeat to the troubled but kind-hearted Piper, these companions often offer players comfort and company in a world that feels vast and lonely. Their stories are woven into the larger narrative, providing both moments of joy and sorrow as they accompany the player across the wasteland. These characters are more than just allies. They are reflections of the people who remain in this broken world, carrying with them the emotional weight of survival. Fact 8. The theme of survival is deeply embedded in Fallout's narrative. Whether it's scavenging for food and water, or battling fierce creatures and raiders, survival is never guaranteed in the harsh world of the wasteland. This constant struggle to stay alive mirrors the experiences of those who lived through the Great War, reminding players that survival often comes at a price. The game forces you to make difficult decisions, from choosing to aid fellow survivors to making sacrifices for the greater good. In this world, every choice counts, and the line between heroism and selfishness is often blurred. Fact 9. One of the most beloved aspects of the Fallout games is their choice-driven narrative. The player is often faced with moral dilemmas that can alter the course of the story. The karma system, which tracks whether the player's actions are good or evil, is an essential element of this narrative design. However, what sets Fallout apart is that the consequences of your choices are never black and white. Whether you choose to help or harm others, the world of Fallout reminds you that actions have consequences, and not all of them are immediately clear. Fact 10. The Fallout series is also known for its intricate world building, where every corner of the wasteland is filled with details and hidden stories. From abandoned cities to forgotten vaults, every location tells a tale of what happened before and what could still be happening in the present. Exploring the vast open world is one of the most immersive parts of the game. It's a place where players can lose themselves, not just in the main quests, but in the stories whispered by the landscape itself, by a rusted car, a forgotten note, or an old radio broadcast that echoes through the desolate landscape. Fact 11. One of the most iconic creatures in the Fallout universe is the Deathclaw, a terrifying, massive mutant lizard created through the twisted effects of radiation and genetic experimentation. These formidable beasts were originally designed as part of the US military's attempts to create super soldiers, but their mutations spiraled out of control. With claws that can tear through steel and an intimidating presence, Deathclaws are both feared and respected in the wasteland. Their sheer strength and lethal abilities make them a constant threat, though their beauty lies in their terrifying majesty and tragic origins, a reminder of the hubris of pre war mankind. Fact 12. The Fallout series is filled with unique weapons, but one of the most beloved is the Fat Man, a handheld nuclear catapult that launches mini nuclear bombs across the wasteland. Originally intended for military use, the Fat Man has become a symbol of both the terrifying power and the absurdity of the post apocalyptic world. It serves as a reminder of how weapons that once held the promise of a better world now wreak havoc in a world long past redemption. The absurdity of launching a nuclear warhead from a small device reflects the irony and tragedy of humanity's downfall. Fact 13. The Pip-Boy 3000, an essential piece of equipment for any Fallout adventurer, is more than just a tool. This wrist-mounted device acts as the player's interface for everything from tracking quests to managing inventory. But beyond its functionality, the Pip-Boy is a link to the past, an artifact of a simpler time when technology was created to serve humanity, not control it. Its cheerful green glow and user-friendly interface provide a comforting touch in a world filled with decay and danger. With the Pip-Boy, players are reminded that even in the most desolate places, there can be moments of simple, nostalgic joy. Fact 14. In the world of Fallout, factions are a vital part of the narrative, and one of the most interesting and complex factions is the New California Republic, NCR. A democratic republic formed after the Great War, the NCR seeks to rebuild the world in the image of the pre-war United States. However, its expansionist policies and internal corruption present a moral dilemma for anyone interacting with it. The NCR's desire to bring order to the chaos of the wasteland is noble, but its methods can be harsh and controversial, leaving players to question whether its actions are truly in the best interest of the people. Fact 15. A key element in the Fallout universe is the radio. Radio stations like Radio New Vegas or Galaxy News Radio are more than just entertainment in the wasteland. They are lifelines, offering news, music, and a sense of connection to the world. Through the soothing voices of DJs like Three Dog or the sarcastic tone of Mojave Radio, players can hear both the highs and the lows of post-apocalyptic life. These broadcasts not only offer commentary on the state of the world, but also provide a haunting reminder of the voices of the past, still echoing through the desolate airwaves. Fact 16. The world of Fallout is filled with strange and bizarre characters, but none are perhaps more eccentric than the charismatic yet tragically flawed Dr. Mobius. Found in Fallout New Vegas, Dr. Mobius is a scientist who has retreated into the Big Empty, his mind warped by years of isolation. His appearance, complete with a giant mechanical brain encased in a glass dome, may be unsettling, but his intelligence and charm shine through. He represents the odd beauty of the wasteland, where even the most brilliant minds can become twisted by the unforgiving environment, yet still hold on to their spark of humanity. Fact 17. One of the recurring themes in Fallout is the exploration of power, both personal and institutional. One of the game's most prominent representations of power is the faction known as Caesar's Legion, a brutal and totalitarian group that uses slavery and fear to control the wasteland. Modeled after the Roman Empire, Caesar's Legion is a reflection of humanity's darkest instincts, an organization built on conquest, violence, and the complete subjugation of others. Despite their cruelty, their existence in the wasteland forces players to confront the harsh realities of survival and the lengths some will go to in order to seize power. Fact 18. While the Fallout series is filled with moments of danger and despair, it also contains a deep undercurrent of humor. Many of the game's jokes come from its parody of 1950s culture and its dark take on optimism. One such example is the game's quirky dialogue system, which allows players to be snarky, sarcastic, or even charming in their interactions. This light-hearted tone is balanced by the brutal realities of the wasteland, giving the game a sense of balance between darkness and light. This humor provides a release in an otherwise tense, dangerous world, a rare moment of levity in a fractured reality. Fact 19. The power armor, one of Fallout's most iconic pieces of equipment, is not just a suit of armor. It's a symbol of survival and strength. Built by the US military before the war, these suits were originally designed to give soldiers an edge in battle. Now, in the wasteland, they serve as a reminder of the past's attempts at greatness, a relic from an era that fell short of its lofty ideals. Power armor's weight and bulk make it cumbersome, but it provides unmatched protection. It's a beacon of hope and protective shell, literally and metaphorically, against the dangers of the wasteland. Fact 20. The Fallout universe is full of strange creatures, but one of the most unnerving is the Yao Guai, a giant mutated bear that roams the wasteland in search of prey. Originally a species of bear native to China, the Yao Guai was transformed into a deadly predator due to the mutagenic effects of radiation. With glowing red eyes and powerful claws, these creatures are both terrifying and tragic, reminders of the natural world that was twisted beyond recognition by mankind's reckless interference. The Yao Guai's presence in the wasteland represents the inescapable cycle of mutation and destruction that defines the series. Fact 21. One of the most fascinating elements of the Fallout universe is the diverse and often contradictory nature of the factions that inhabit the wasteland. While some, like the Brotherhood of Steel, seek to preserve knowledge and technology, others, like the Raiders, are motivated by a brutal desire for power and domination. This stark contrast creates a world where survival often requires navigating complex moral landscapes, where loyalty, trust, and betrayal can be as deadly as any rad scorpion. The factions you encounter in Fallout force you to ask questions about power, freedom, and the price of civilization in a world that has long forgotten them. Fact 22. Radiation, while often viewed as the harbinger of death in the Fallout universe, is also the source of many strange and unexpected mutations. The wasteland is teeming with bizarre creatures that have been altered by the fallout, from the giant, terrifying rad scorpions to the eerie, glowing ones. These mutations are not just a result of scientific experimentation gone wrong. They are a natural consequence of the war's aftermath, showing the chaotic, unpredictable nature of life in the post-apocalypse. In the wasteland, Nothing is safe from radiation's transformative power, and even the simplest of creatures may be hiding terrifying secrets. Fact 23. The radio stations in Fallout are a comforting presence in the harsh world of the wasteland. Stations like Galaxy News Radio and Radio New Vegas not only offer music, but also serve as a means of storytelling. Through the voices of DJs like Three Dog or Mr. New Vegas, players can stay connected to the pulse of the world. The DJs offer news, commentary, and personal stories, reminding players that even in the most desolate corners of the earth, there are still voices echoing through the darkness, offering both solace and reflection on the state of the world. Fact 24. Fallout is a series known for its complex narrative and branching storylines. The choices you make throughout the game can dramatically alter the outcome of the story, from small interactions to large scale decisions that affect entire factions or communities. The game's reputation for choice driven storytelling has earned it acclaim for its depth and moral complexity. But beyond the plot, Fallout also invites players to explore the consequences of their actions. In a world where survival is key, even the smallest decisions carry weight, and the true cost of your choices often becomes clear only after they've been made. Fact 25. One of the most tragic and poignant aspects of the Fallout series is the exploration of lost love and faded hope. Characters like Moira Brown in Fallout 3 and Veronica in New Vegas reveal the human side of the wasteland, characters who, despite their survival instincts, are still longing for a sense of connection and belonging. These individuals are often haunted by memories of loved ones they've lost, or relationships that have been broken by the chaos of the post-apocalypse. In their quiet moments, they are reminders of the world that was, and the enduring ache of loss that persists even after the bombs fell. Fact 26. The wasteland in Fallout is more than just a barren desert. It is a place filled with hidden stories waiting to be uncovered. Every ruin, every crumbled building holds fragments of a forgotten history, telling tales of the people who once lived there. Whether it's the remains of an old military installation, a derelict hospital, or the remains of a once thriving city, exploring these places allows players to piece together the puzzle of the pre-war world. Fallout rewards curiosity, with each corner of the map offering new lore and details about the world that once was, before it was ravaged by nuclear war. Fact 27. The vaults, a key element of the Fallout series, were originally designed as safe havens for civilians in the event of nuclear war. However, most of them turned out to be experimental sites for twisted social experiments. Some vaults were designed with seemingly harmless goals, like observing how different social structures fared in isolation, while others became breeding grounds for terrifying mutations. The vaults are not just physical spaces, they represent humanity's flawed attempt to preserve itself in the face of disaster, and each one offers a different glimpse into the various ways humanity tried and failed to survive in a world on the brink of extinction. Fact 28. One of the most captivating aspects of the Fallout series is its ability to blend humor with the dark, harsh realities of life in the wasteland. From quirky characters to sarcastic dialogue, the game finds moments of levity in the bleakest of circumstances. Whether it's the humorous interactions with the various factions or the absurdity of certain situations, Fallout invites players to find humor even in the most desolate places. This mix of dark humor and brutal reality helps to humanize the characters and brings a sense of balance to a world that could easily feel overwhelming in its darkness. Fact 29: the landscape of the wasteland is one of the most memorable features of the Fallout series. From the scorched deserts of the Mojave to the ruined streets of Washington, D.C., each location is meticulously crafted to evoke a sense of desolation and decay. Yet amidst the destruction, there are pockets of beauty, overgrown forests reclaiming cities, abandoned homes that still hold traces of the lives once lived within them. This contrast between the brokenness of the world and the persistence of nature creates a powerful, melancholic atmosphere where the past and present coexist in a delicate, fragile balance. Fact 30: the SPECIAL system is an integral part of the Fallout games, allowing players to customize their characters' abilities based on 7 core stats: strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. These stats are essential in shaping how players approach the world, whether they choose to engage in combat, navigate social situations, or use their intellect to solve problems. The SPECIAL system is a unique way of personalizing the Fallout experience, and it reflects the theme of individual agency in a world where survival depends on the choices you make. Fact 31: the Fallout universe is known for its rich and diverse cast of characters, and one of the most unique figures is that enigmatic Elijah from Fallout, New Vegas, Old World Blues. Formerly a scientist for the Brotherhood of Steel, Elijah's obsession with technology and immortality led him down a dark path. His character is a reflection of the series' recurring theme of hubris and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Elijah's downfall illustrates how even the most brilliant minds, when consumed by their own desires, can become twisted and ultimately doomed in a world already fractured by war. Fact 32: one of the most iconic elements of the Fallout series is its deep integration of lore and environmental storytelling. Rather than relying solely on long winded exposition, the game encourages players to uncover the past through their surroundings. Each decayed building, each abandoned vehicle, and every derelict vault is a piece of the puzzle. For instance, in Fallout 4, players can explore the ruins of Boston, where the city's history unfolds through the remnants of old advertisements, shattered signs, and forgotten messages. The world of Fallout tells its story, not just with words, but with its very structure, inviting players to piece together what was lost. Fact 33: the world of Fallout is one where hope and despair are often intertwined, and one of the most poignant examples of this is the story of the Great War. The war itself was sparked by political tensions and fear of nuclear annihilation, leading to a rapid escalation of conflict. In the span of just 2 hours, the world was reduced to rubble, and civilization as it was known came to an end. The devastation left behind is a constant reminder of humanity's capacity for both creation and destruction, where the very technology meant to protect us became our undoing. Fact 34: the Fallout series is not just a reflection of a post apocalyptic world, it is also a commentary on the nature of human society, politics, and power. One of the most fascinating factions is the Enclave, a secretive and militaristic group that believes in the superiority of pre war America. They consider themselves the true heirs to the old world and seek to rebuild a new, purified society. However, their methods are ruthless, and their belief in their own supremacy makes them both dangerous and tragic. The Enclave represents the dangerous allure of authoritarianism and the belief that a return to the past is the only way forward. Fact 35. One of the most enduring symbols of the Fallout series is the Vault Boy, the cheerful mascot of Vault Tech. While his smiling face may seem out of place in the desolate wasteland, it serves as a reminder of the false optimism that permeated pre war America. Vault Boy's image adorns everything from advertisements to the Pip Boy interface, creating an ironic contrast to the grim world in which players find themselves. His presence is a bittersweet reminder of the optimism and naivety that once existed before the world was shattered by the Great War. Fact 36. The Fallout universe is full of morally complex characters, and one of the most interesting is Caesar from Caesar's Legion. Inspired by the Roman Empire, Caesar rules with an iron fist, believing that the only way to restore order to the wasteland is through brutal conquest and slavery. Though his reign is marked by violence and cruelty, Caesar himself is a deeply philosophical character with a strong belief in the necessity of power and discipline. His complex personality and motives create a morally gray character, forcing players to question what makes a leader truly great and whether his vision for the future is worth following. Fact 37. A major theme in the Fallout series is the idea of rebuilding after devastation. This theme is embodied in the faction known as the Brotherhood of Steel, who seek to preserve the technological advancements of the pre war world. Though often seen as a group of zealots obsessed with hoarding technology, the Brotherhood also believes that humanity must learn from the mistakes of the past to avoid repeating them. Their mission is not just to survive, but to rebuild and preserve the remnants of the old world. This desire to restore the past often leads them into conflict with other factions who have different visions for the future. Fact 38. One of the most compelling aspects of the Fallout series is the sense of isolation that players experience. Whether it's wandering through the ruined streets of a decimated city or navigating the vast empty deserts, the feeling of loneliness and abandonment is pervasive. The wasteland is a place where relationships are fleeting and survival is always uncertain. Yet, despite the bleakness of the environment, the series also celebrates human resilience and the will to persevere. Even in a world torn apart by war, the desire for connection and meaning remains strong, and the journey to find hope in the darkness is a core part of the Fallout experience. Fact 39. In addition to its deep lore and character driven storytelling, the Fallout series is also known for its sense of humor, which often emerges in unexpected places. From the absurdity of the mysterious stranger perk in Fallout 3 to the satirical dialogue options, the series offers moments of levity in an otherwise grim setting. This dark humor helps to balance the weight of the story, providing players with a brief respite from the harsh realities of the wasteland. It's a reminder that even in the most dire of situations, laughter can still be found. Fact 40. One of the more tragic stories in the Fallout universe is the tale of the Vault Dweller, the protagonist of Fallout 1. The Vault Dweller is a survivor of Vault 13, one of the few vaults that remained mostly untouched by the experiments conducted by Vault Tech. However, despite the Vault Dweller's efforts to save their home from a deadly water chip shortage, they are ultimately forced to leave the safety of their vault and face the unforgiving wasteland. The Vault Dweller's journey represents the loss of innocence and the harsh realities of the post apocalyptic world, where survival often means sacrificing everything. Fact 41. The Fallout series has a unique way of blending its dystopian future with remnants of the past, particularly through the appearance of pre war advertisements and slogans. These bright, colorful ads promoting products like Nuka Cola or Vault Tech offer a stark contrast to the decaying, barren world that players explore. These advertisements, often painted on crumbling billboards, remind players of the carefree, consumer driven society that existed before the Great War. They serve as haunting symbols of how the world once functioned, now nothing more than a faded memory as time wears away the veneer of optimism. Fact 42. One of the most unsettling yet captivating features of the Fallout universe is the feral ghouls, humans who have been twisted by prolonged exposure to radiation. Once ordinary people, these beings have become violent, mindless creatures, driven only by their hunger for flesh. The transformation from human to feral ghoul serves as a stark reminder of the devastating effects of radiation, how it not only destroys the body, but also erases the soul. Yet the lingering traces of their humanity, those faint memories of who they once were, add a layer of sorrow to their existence, making them tragic figures in the wasteland. Fact 43. The Fallout series has always offered players the ability to engage in a wide variety of activities beyond just combat and quests. One of the most beloved pastimes is the mini-game of Caravan in Fallout, New Vegas. Caravan is a card game that blends strategy and luck, and its inclusion adds a sense of richness to the world. For many players, Caravan provides a welcome respite from the tension of the wasteland, allowing them to unwind while simultaneously exploring the deeper social intricacies of the game's universe. It's a moment of calm in a storm of chaos. Fact 44. The wasteland in Fallout is not only a place of destruction, but also of strange, surreal beauty. In Fallout 4, players can explore the Commonwealth, a region that is home to some of the most beautifully haunting scenes in the series. The landscape is dotted with ruins, and nature is slowly reclaiming the land. Overgrown trees and vines crawl over long abandoned buildings, creating a haunting blend of man-made decay and the resilience of the natural world. This juxtaposition of destruction and renewal creates a melancholic beauty, one that is felt deeply as players wander through the remnants of civilization. Fact 45. One of the most memorable factions in the Fallout series is the Railroad, a group dedicated to helping synths, artificial beings created by the Institute, escape their creators and find freedom. The Railroad's commitment to this cause is based on the belief that all beings, organic or synthetic, deserve the right to self-determination. In a world where morality is often blurry and choices are never black and white, the Railroad stands as a beacon of compassion and resistance against the oppressive forces that seek to control others. Their struggle against the Institute represents the broader fight for freedom and equality in the wasteland. Fact 46. The Fallout games are known for their dark humor, but few moments are as simultaneously bizarre and funny as the quest to find the Garden of Eden creation kit, Gek, in Fallout 3. The Gek is rumored to have the power to restore the Earth's ecosystem, and yet, in the post-apocalyptic world, it is surrounded by absurdity and unattainable ideals. As players hunt for this mythical device, they are reminded of the tension between the idealistic hopes of pre war society and the grim realities of the wasteland. The Giek serves as both a symbol of hope and a cruel reminder of the fragility of life. Fact 47. One of the most poignant characters in the Fallout universe is the Vault Dweller from Fallout 1, a lone survivor who sets out on a journey to save their home from the brink of destruction. The Vault Dweller is a symbol of hope and resilience. However, their story is also one of loss, as they must leave behind the only home they've ever known to confront the dangers of the wasteland. The Vault Dweller's journey is an exploration of what it means to survive and what one must sacrifice to ensure the survival of others. It's a story of quiet bravery in a world that has forgotten what it means to hope. Fact 48. One of the game series' most iconic features is its soundtrack, which blends old-timey tunes with eerie atmospheric scores. In Fallout 3, players are treated to a nostalgic mix of pre-war jazz, big band music, and swing, which plays on the in-game radio stations. These tunes serve as a stark contrast to the bleak reality of the wasteland, creating an eerie feeling of both nostalgia and foreboding. They act as a time capsule of sorts, transporting players back to a time before the war, when music and culture were vibrant and full of life, now lost to the ravages of nuclear destruction. Fact 49. The Brotherhood of Steel, though known for their technological expertise, are not without their internal struggles. The faction is divided between its leadership and the more idealistic members who seek to use technology for the betterment of humanity. This divide is most clearly seen in Fallout, New Vegas, where the player must decide whether to ally with the Brotherhood or stand against their potentially dangerous obsession with hoarding and controlling technology. Their internal conflict highlights a recurring theme in Fallout: the tension between the preservation of knowledge and the potential for abuse of power. Fact 50. One of the most haunting aspects of the Fallout series is the memory of the world before the Great War, a time of relative peace and prosperity. In Fallout 4, players can explore the remnants of a pre-war society, including the iconic Nuka-Cola factories and the homes of once thriving families. These remnants, while often shattered and decayed, offer a glimpse into a world that no longer exists. Through these small moments, like a family photo on the wall or a broken toy scattered on the floor, players can feel the echoes of what was lost, amplifying the tragedy of the post-apocalyptic world. Fact 51. The Fallout series is filled with moral dilemmas, and one of the most interesting aspects is how different factions view the concept of order. For example, the New California Republic, NCR, seeks to rebuild the United States, embracing democratic ideals and aiming to restore a semblance of the old world. However, their methods often involve heavy bureaucracy, corruption, and an expansionist policy that can harm the very people they aim to protect. The NCR's struggle to maintain their moral high ground in such a chaotic world makes them both admirable and deeply flawed, reflecting the complexities of rebuilding after a catastrophe. Fact 52. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Fallout world is the concept of the wasteland. Far from being a barren, empty place, the wasteland is filled with bizarre, mutated creatures, dangerous factions, and survivors who have learned to adapt to the most extreme environments. The Fallout universe reflects the resilience of humanity, showing how people find ways to survive even in the face of unimaginable odds. The strange, harsh beauty of the wasteland is paradoxical, a place where life has endured despite the devastation. It is a constant reminder of humanity's ability to adapt, even when all seems lost. Fact 53: the FEV, forced evolutionary virus, is one of the most infamous scientific experiments in the Fallout series, responsible for the creation of the terrifying supermutants. Initially intended as a way to create a race of super soldiers, the virus mutated its subjects into hulking, aggressive creatures. While the super mutants' physical strength makes them formidable enemies, their intelligence is often impaired, leaving them vulnerable to manipulation and control. The FEV is a tragic symbol of how human ambition can lead to catastrophic results, creating monsters that were never intended and shaping the dark history of the wasteland. Fact 54: the Fallout series is known for its detailed world building, and one of the most fascinating aspects is the use of pre war technology. Before the Great War, society was deeply invested in technological advancements, from the creation of robots to the development of AI. In the wasteland, these technologies are scattered across the ruins, often with mixed results. While some robots, like the Mr. Handy series, are still functional and helpful, others have become hostile or malfunctioned over the years. These relics of the past serve as both a source of nostalgia and a warning about the dangers of over reliance on technology. Fact 55: one of the most tragic stories in Fallout is that of the Vault 101 dwellers in Fallout 3. Vault 101 was designed to be a safe haven, a place where its inhabitants would remain isolated from the outside world for their entire lives. However, when the protagonist is forced to leave the vault in search of a missing father, the story of Vault 101 becomes a symbol of the dangers of isolation. The inhabitants' complete detachment from the outside world leaves them ill equipped to handle the realities of the wasteland, highlighting the complexities of survival in a fractured world. Fact 56: one of the most interesting and complex factions in the Fallout universe is the Institute, a highly secretive and technologically advanced group. The Institute is known for creating synths, advanced humanoid robots designed to blend in with humans. While they are capable of remarkable feats, their existence raises troubling questions about the nature of identity and humanity. The Institute's belief that they can save the world through technological innovation is both a reflection of their arrogance and a commentary on the potential dangers of playing God. Their story explores themes of control, creation, and the ethical consequences of tampering with life. Fact 57: Fallout New Vegas introduced players to one of the most unique and memorable characters in the series, Rex, the cybernetic dog. Rex is a loyal companion who has undergone a number of augmentations to enhance his abilities, making him both a tragic and endearing figure in the story. His journey parallels that of the Wasteland survivors. He is a symbol of what it means to endure, adapt, and find a way to survive despite the ravages of time. Rex is a reminder that even in a broken world, there is still a place for companionship, loyalty, and the will to fight for survival. Fact 58: the Fallout universe is rich with hidden stories, often told through subtle environmental details. One of the most haunting examples of this is the story of Vault 11, a vault where the inhabitants were forced to sacrifice one person each year in order to prevent the vault from being sealed permanently. The story unfolds through scattered terminals and notes, revealing the slow breakdown of the vault's moral fabric as its residents struggle with the horrors of their situation. Vault 11's story is a grim commentary on the lengths people will go to in order to survive and the moral costs of survival. Fact 59: one of the most beloved characters in Fallout 4 is Nick Valentine, a synth detective who has retained his humanity despite being a creation of the Institute. Nick's backstory is tragic, yet heartwarming. He was once a human detective named Nick, but after being kidnapped and transformed into a synth, he lost his former life. Yet despite his new mechanical body, Nick retains his sharp mind and his sense of justice. His character explores the notion of identity and what it means to be human, raising important questions about the value of consciousness and the essence of the soul in a post apocalyptic world. Fact 60: one of the most powerful elements of the Fallout series is its ability to evoke a sense of loss and nostalgia. The game's world is filled with references to pre war America, from old billboards to radios playing tunes from a bygone era. These moments of nostalgia are often bittersweet, as they remind players of a time that no longer exists. In Fallout 4, players can uncover the remnants of a pre war world, from family photos to broken toys, all of which provide a glimpse into the lives of those who once lived there. These artifacts serve as a poignant reminder of what was lost in the Great War. Fact 61: one of the recurring motifs in the Fallout series is the idea of memory and its power to shape both individuals and entire civilizations. In Fallout 3, the player encounters a number of characters who are haunted by their memories of the world before the Great War. This theme is especially evident in the story of the Vault 112, where the residents are trapped in a simulated world created by the devious Dr. Braun. The simulation itself, a perfect version of life before the war, becomes a prison for those who can't let go of the past, demonstrating how memories can trap people in cycles of longing. Fact 62: one of the most iconic creatures in the Fallout universe is the Radroach, a mutated cockroach that has become a common nuisance throughout the wasteland. While these creatures are far from the most dangerous foes in the game, their omnipresence serves as a symbol of the strange, unsettling nature of the world post-apocalypse. Radroaches are often found scuttling around abandoned buildings or vaults, living survivors of a world ravaged by radiation. Their presence in the wasteland serves as a reminder that in the aftermath of global devastation, even the smallest creatures can survive and thrive in the most unlikely places. Fact 63: in Fallout New Vegas, players are introduced to the charismatic and ruthless leader of the new California Republic, President Aaron Kimball. Kimball's vision for the future of the wasteland is one of order and democracy, but his efforts are often seen as overbearing and driven by self-interest. As players interact with Kimball and his faction, they are confronted with the moral complexities of leadership in a post-apocalyptic world. Kimball's character highlights how even the noblest of intentions can be tainted by corruption and the challenges of maintaining power in a fragmented world where ideals often clash with reality. Fact 64: one of the more tragic figures in the Fallout universe is Fox, the super mutant companion who accompanies the player in Fallout 3. Unlike most super mutants, Fox retains his intellect and compassion, having been subjected to the FEV virus, but not losing his humanity. His backstory is a poignant tale of survival and longing, as he was created as part of an experiment, but found a sense of purpose and friendship with the Vault Dweller. Fox represents the theme of redemption in Fallout, where even those created for destruction can find meaning and a path towards something greater than what they were made to be. Fact 65. The Fallout universe is filled with factions that hold vastly different views on how to restore the world, and one of the most divisive is Caesar's Legion. Inspired by the Roman Empire, Caesar's Legion seeks to impose a brutal, totalitarian rule across the wasteland, using fear, slavery, and conquest to achieve their goals. Though their vision for the future is rooted in ancient history, their methods are as dangerous and cruel as the wasteland itself. Caesar's Legion serves as a warning about the dangers of absolute power and the lengths people will go to in the name of restoring order. Fact 66. One of the most fascinating aspects of Fallout is the way it incorporates real world history and culture into its post apocalyptic setting. From the use of 1950s era advertisements to the inclusion of references to historical figures, Fallout offers a world that feels both familiar and strange. This blend of the past and future is most evident in the various technological advancements of the pre war world. For example, the advanced robots and AI found throughout the wasteland are relics of a time when technology was both a promise and a peril, giving players a sense of what could have been had the war not shattered civilization. Fact 67. The wasteland in Fallout is a place where survival requires ingenuity, and one of the most beloved aspects of the series is the crafting system. In Fallout 4, players can gather materials from the environment and use them to craft weapons, armor, and even entire settlements. This system of creation in the midst of destruction reflects the core themes of the series, finding hope and purpose in a broken world. Crafting in Fallout is a way for players to rebuild, not just physically, but emotionally, as they take what is left of the past and mold it into something new. Fact 68. The Fallout series is filled with references to pop culture, but one of the most amusing is the inclusion of the game's in-universe film series, The Adventures of the Grognak the Barbarian. These comic books, found scattered throughout the wasteland, follow the adventures of the titular hero, a barbarian warrior who battles monsters and saves the day. The Grognak comics are a fun, light-hearted addition to the game, offering players a glimpse into the type of entertainment that existed before the war. They also serve as a reminder of how, even in the darkest times, stories of heroism and adventure continue to inspire. Fact 69. One of the more intriguing locations in the Fallout series is the Big Empty, a mysterious, desolate region located in Fallout, New Vegas. The Big Empty is home to strange, abandoned facilities and experiments, and is the setting for the Old World Blues DLC. This area, isolated from the rest of the wasteland, is filled with bizarre creatures and forgotten technologies. The Big Empty represents the forgotten corners of the world, places where humanity's excesses and ambitions have left behind strange remnants. Exploring it is a reminder that the wasteland is full of forgotten histories and mysteries just waiting to be uncovered. Fact 70. One of the most memorable companions in Fallout is Boone, a sniper in Fallout, New Vegas, who has a dark and tragic past. Boone is a former NCR soldier who becomes disillusioned with the NCR after witnessing the atrocities committed by its leadership. He is driven by a need for vengeance, Yet throughout his journey, he wrestles with his own moral compass. Boone's character is a reflection of the themes of loss, regret, and redemption that run through the Fallout series. His journey highlights how, even in the wasteland, people can seek a sense of purpose and find solace in the midst of despair. Fact 71. One of the most memorable aspects of the Fallout series is its use of moral choices, and one of the most complicated choices comes from the decision to help or hinder the Brotherhood of Steel. While the Brotherhood is known for its technological prowess and its mission to preserve knowledge, their tendency to hoard pre-war technology makes them both revered and controversial. In Fallout 4, players must navigate the Brotherhood's ambitions to expand their influence, while questioning whether their methods of preserving the past are truly in the best interest of the wasteland. The Brotherhood's story is a reflection of the challenge of balancing progress with ethics. Fact 72. The Fallout universe has long been defined by its themes of survival and resilience, and one of the most heartbreaking examples of this is the story of the Children of Adam. This religious cult worships radiation as a divine force and believes that nuclear fallout is a necessary part of the natural order. The Children of Adam's beliefs may seem strange to outsiders, but they represent the lengths to which people in the wasteland will go to find meaning in a broken world. Their faith in the power of radiation is a poignant commentary on humanity's need to find hope, even in the most unlikely places. Fact 73. In Fallout 3, one of the game's most tragic figures is the character of Amada Almodovar, the Vault Dweller's childhood friend. Amada's story is one of loss and redemption as she struggles to survive within Vault 101, a place of isolation and control. As the Vault Dweller unravels the mystery of the Vault, Amada is forced to confront the truth about her father, the Vault Overseer, and her own future. Her story is one of quiet bravery, as she ultimately seeks to carve out a place for herself in a world that has long been defined by its own brokenness. Fact 74. The Fallout series excels at creating a world that is both tragic and darkly humorous, and one of the more amusing aspects of the games is the prevalence of pre-war advertisements. These vintage ads, often for now dated products like Nuka-Cola or the Mr. Handy robot, serve as an ironic contrast to the world that players explore. These ads, with their cheerful slogans and upbeat tones, reflect the society that existed before the Great War, a society that was blissfully unaware of the impending devastation. The use of these nostalgic ads in the post-apocalyptic world is a haunting reminder of what was lost. Fact 75. One of the most compelling aspects of Fallout. New Vegas is the story of the Mojave Wasteland, a place where multiple factions are vying for control of the region. The New California Republic, NCR, Caesar's Legion, and the independent New Vegas factions all have their own visions for the future, and players must navigate their allegiances carefully. The political intrigue and power struggles in the Mojave reflect the larger theme of survival in Fallout, that in a world where resources are scarce and chaos reigns, the battle for control is one of the most defining aspects of life in the wasteland. Fact 76. One of the most tragic characters in Fallout 4 is the sole survivor, who wakes up from a cryogenic sleep to find their world destroyed and their family is lost. The sole survivor's journey is one of both personal loss and the quest for meaning in a world that no longer makes sense. As the player explores the post-apocalyptic landscape, they are constantly reminded of the pain of their loss, from the ruined remains of their home to the haunting remnants of their family's belongings. The sole survivor's quest to find their missing child is both a story of hope and the crushing weight of grief. Fact 77. One of the unique elements of Fallout New Vegas is its use of multiple endings, each of which reflects the player's choices and allegiances. Whether the player chooses to side with the NCR, Caesar's Legion, or the independent New Vegas factions, the game's outcome is shaped by the decisions made throughout the story. This focus on choice driven narratives allows players to explore different visions for the future of the wasteland, from democratic restoration to brutal conquest. The branching storylines in New Vegas showcase the complexity of survival in a world where every action can alter the course of history. Fact 78. One of the most iconic and chilling moments in the Fallout series comes from Fallout 3 when players encounter the Enclave. This militaristic group believes in the superiority of pre-war America and seeks to restore the old government through brutal means. The Enclave's story is a commentary on the dangers of authoritarianism and the belief that the past holds the answers to rebuilding the future. Their sinister actions and ruthless methods make them one of the most memorable factions in Fallout, and their presence in the game forces players to confront the question of what it truly means to rebuild as after disaster. Fact 79. In Fallout 4, one of the most memorable companions is Piper Wright, a journalist who runs a newspaper in Diamond City. Piper's cheerful personality and sense of justice make her a welcome ally in the wasteland. Her backstory is one of loss and determination as she seeks to uncover the truth about the post-apocalyptic world. Piper's quest for truth, even in the face of danger, serves as a reminder of the importance of storytelling and the preservation of knowledge in a world that is constantly changing. She is a symbol of hope and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Fact 80. One of the most interesting aspects of the Fallout universe is the role of technology in the wasteland. In the pre-war world, technology was both a tool for progress and a source of great danger, and its legacy continues to shape the world long after the bombs fell. From the powerful weapons left behind by the military to the advanced robots that roam the wasteland, technology is both a blessing and a curse. In the wasteland, players must decide how to use these remnants of the past, whether to rebuild or to keep them out of the hands of those who would use them for destruction. Fact 81. One of the most iconic characters in the Fallout universe is the infamous Mr. Handy robot. Originally designed as a household assistant, Mr. Handy has since become a symbol of the pre-war world's optimism, with its cheerful voice and helpful attitude. However, after the Great War, these robots became relics of a bygone era, often repurposed for combat or scavenging in the wasteland. In some ways, Mr. Handy represents the tragic clash between technological progress and the destruction it brought. Despite the ruin of the world, Mr. Handy continues to exist, carrying its old purpose into a world it no longer understands. Fact 82. In Fallout 3, players encounter the ghastly phenomenon known as the Wasteland Ghosts. These spectral figures are the souls of those who perished in the aftermath of the Great War, haunting the ruins of their former homes. The idea of these wandering spirits adds a layer of mysticism and sorrow to the Fallout universe. Their presence is a constant reminder that the world of the wasteland is not just inhabited by the living, but also by the memories of those who have long passed. Their whispers through the ruins are the only remnants of what was once a vibrant world. Fact 83. The Fallout series thrives on its memorable side characters, and one of the most beloved companions is Dogmeat, the loyal canine companion who appears in multiple games. Dogmeat's presence in the wasteland offers a sense of comfort and warmth amidst the chaos. Though he may not be able to speak, Dogmeat's loyalty and courage speak volumes. In a world where trust is scarce and betrayal lurks around every corner, Dogmeat stands as a symbol of unconditional love and friendship. His companionships provides solace to the player, reminding them that even in the darkest of times, there is always room for loyalty and kindness. Fact 84. One of the more disturbing factions in Fallout is the Raiders, a brutal group of marauders who roam the wasteland, taking what they want through violence and fear. Raiders are often seen as the embodiment of the lawlessness and savagery that can arise when civilization collapses. Their existence raises a question central to the Fallout series. What happens to humanity when order breaks down? The Raiders are a reflection of the darkest aspects of human nature. How, without the constraints of society, some individuals will devolve into cruelty and anarchy. They are the wasteland's predators, preying on the weak and defenseless. Fact 85. The Fallout series has always explored the theme of rebirth, and one of the most fascinating examples of this is the story of the Vault Tech Corporation. Vault Tech's role in creating the vaults was originally marketed as a means to protect humanity from the fallout of nuclear war. However, as players uncover through the various vaults, the true purpose of Vault Tech was far more sinister. The vaults became breeding grounds for horrific experiments, testing the limits of human endurance and morality. Despite their horrific purpose, the vaults also became havens for those lucky enough to survive, offering a sense of twisted hope in an otherwise bleak world. Fact 86. The landscape of the wasteland is not just physically decayed, it's emotionally fractured as well. In Fallout New Vegas, players explore the Mojave Desert, a land scarred by war, famine, and power struggles. Amid the sweeping sands and broken highways, remnants of the old world lie in ruins, abandoned towns, decimated highways, and forgotten landmarks. These places of once vibrant communities now stand silent, serving as haunting reminders of what was lost. Yet within this broken landscape, new communities rise, symbolizing humanity's resilience and their desire to rebuild. The Mojave is a land of both despair and hope, where every step is a journey through the past and future. Fact 87. In Fallout 4, players can craft their own settlements in the wasteland, an act that becomes both an act of survival and creativity. These settlements allow players to gather resources, build homes, and fortify their defenses against the dangers of the wasteland. The crafting system in Fallout 4 adds a unique element to the series, as players are not just surviving, they are rebuilding and creating. The act of constructing something in a destroyed world is both a symbol of defiance against the apocalypse and a way for the player to make a personal mark on the world. Fact 88. The Fallout universe is filled with compelling and often tragic stories of people who are caught between conflicting values. One such story is that of the Mechanist, a villain in Fallout 4 whose identity and motives are rooted in the desire to protect others. The Mechanist initially sees themselves as a hero, using technology to defend the innocent. However, their methods quickly become questionable as they descend into madness. The Mechanist's story is a tragic exploration of how good intentions can go awry when unchecked by morality. In the wasteland, the line between hero and villain is often blurred. Fact 89: the theme of betrayal is ever present in the Fallout series, particularly in Fallout New Vegas. One of the most heartbreaking moments in the game comes when players realize that they can no longer trust some of their closest allies. Whether it's the ambitious and manipulative Sazer's Legion or the morally ambiguous New California Republic, betrayal lurks behind every faction. The player must constantly question their alliances, forcing them to reckon with the idea that, in the wasteland, loyalty is a luxury that can only be afforded by the truly trustworthy or the truly naive. Fact 90: the Fallout games are rich in diverse, memorable characters, but one of the most compelling is the enigmatic character of the Courier in Fallout New Vegas. The Courier begins their journey as a simple messenger, but as the story unfolds, they become a central figure in the power struggles that shape the future of the Mojave Wasteland. The Courier's journey is one of self discovery as they navigate the complex world of competing factions and learn that their own choices will determine the fate of the land. The Courier represents the idea that in the wasteland, anyone can rise to power, but at a price. Fact 91: one of the more intriguing factions in the Fallout universe is the Institute, a secretive group of scientists and engineers who live in the shadows of the Commonwealth. Known for their advanced technology, and most notably, their creation of synths, artificial humans, they represent the promise and peril of unchecked scientific advancement. While the Institute claims to work for the betterment of humanity, their methods often involve ethically questionable practices, such as creating lifelike beings without true consent. This moral ambiguity is central to the Fallout series, forcing players to confront the limits of progress and the cost of playing God. Fact 92: the theme of isolation is pervasive throughout the Fallout series, and one of the most poignant examples is the story of Vault 81 in Fallout 4. Vault 81 is one of the few vaults that was not part of the usual Vault Tech experiments, but it still carries its own tragic tale. The Vault's residents live in relative isolation, and when the player enters, they discover a world cut off from the outside. Vault 81's story is a meditation on the loneliness and fear that come from being isolated from the rest of humanity, even in the aftermath of a nuclear apocalypse. Fact 93: one of the most beloved characters in Fallout New Vegas is Boone, a sniper with a tragic past. Once a soldier in the New California Republic, Boone is haunted by the loss of his wife, and his dark, brooding personality contrasts sharply with the chaos of the wasteland. Despite his painful past, Boone's loyalty and strength make him an invaluable companion to the player. His story is one of personal redemption, as he seeks to right the wrongs of his past while grappling with the harsh realities of the world around him. Boone is a symbol of the emotional weight carried by many survivors in the wasteland. Fact 94: the Fallout series is known for its dark humor, and one of the more amusing aspects of Fallout New Vegas is the character of Yes Man, an overly cheerful and extremely agreeable robot. Yes Man's role in the story is to help the player with a series of quests, but his extreme optimism and willingness to agree with everything the player says make him a humorous and somewhat unsettling presence. Yes Man is a playful commentary on blind obedience and the dangers of unchecked loyalty, offering a moment of levity amidst the game's deeper, more somber themes. Fact 95. One of the most tragic and beautiful locations in Fallout 3 is the city of Rivet City. This floating city, built on a massive aircraft carrier, is a symbol of humanity's resourcefulness and ingenuity, as well as its desperation to survive. Rivet City is a place where people have come together to build something new, even in the midst of devastation. However, beneath its gleaming exterior, Rivet City is also home to dark secrets and personal struggles. It represents the fragile nature of hope in the wasteland, a place where people try to rebuild but are always haunted by the past. Fact 96. One of the more mysterious and unsettling figures in Fallout is the character of Dr. Mobius, found in Fallout, New Vegas, Old World Blues. A brilliant scientist who has retreated into a large high-tech lair, Dr. Mobius's mind has been altered by the experiments he has conducted, leaving him a strange and sometimes erratic figure. His obsession with knowledge and technology is both fascinating and dangerous, reflecting the darker side of the human thirst for understanding. Dr. Mobius's journey is one of self-inflicted exile and madness, reminding players that the pursuit of knowledge can sometimes lead to unexpected and unsettling outcomes. Fact 97. The Fallout series often explores the effects of power, and one of the most fascinating examples of this is the story of the Legion in Fallout, New Vegas. Modeled after the Roman Empire, Caesar's Legion is a brutal, authoritarian faction that seeks to dominate the Mojave Wasteland through force and fear. Caesar, their leader, believes in the superiority of his empire and the need for an absolute control. The Legion represents the dangers of unchecked ambition and the allure of absolute power in a fractured world. Their presence in the wasteland forces players to grapple with the ethics of power, control, and governance. Fact 98. One of the most memorable moments in Fallout 4 is the player's encounter with the Institute, an organization that operates in secret, conducting experiments on both technology and humanity. The Institute's mysterious and often morally questionable actions serve as a stark contrast to the player's own journey through the wasteland. As the player learns more about the Institute's goals, they are forced to confront the larger philosophical questions of progress, ethics, and the role of humanity in a world that has been irrevocably altered by war. The Institute serves as a reminder that progress without moral considerations can have devastating consequences. Fact 99. One of the most fascinating locations in Fallout 3 is the Capital Wasteland, a desolate and ruined version of Washington, D.C. The city is home to iconic landmarks like the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial, but these sites are now reduced to rubble, overshadowed by the ravages of nuclear war. The Capital Wasteland is the haunting reminder of the past, where the remnants of civilization stand in stark contrast to the new, dangerous world that has emerged. As players explore the ruins, they are forced to reckon with the idea that history can be both a guide and a warning. Fact 100. The Fallout series often plays with the theme of what it means to be human, and one of the most poignant examples of this is the character of Nick Valentine in Fallout 4. Nick is a synth, a bioengineered being designed to resemble a human, but he retains his sense of self and emotions despite his artificial origins. Nick's struggle with his identity serves as a powerful commentary on the nature of humanity asking whether consciousness and emotion are the true markers of personhood. His journey is a reflection of the larger question of what it means to be alive in a post apocalyptic world. Fact 101: one of the more thought provoking factions in the Fallout universe is the Railroad, a group that advocates for the freedom of synths, human like robots created by the Institute. Synths are often treated as little more than tools, but the Railroad sees them as sentient beings deserving of freedom and rights. This faction's quest to liberate synths mirrors broader themes of identity and the nature of consciousness. It raises questions about what it truly means to be human. The Railroad's fight is a reminder that freedom and dignity must be defended, even for those who might be seen as, artificial. Fact 102: the Fallout series is filled with moments of eerie nostalgia, and one of the most chilling is the appearance of the Vault Tech themed advertisements scattered throughout the wasteland. These advertisements, with their cheerful slogans and bright colors, were created before the Great War to entice people to join the vaults. In the post apocalyptic world, these advertisements take on a much darker tone as they serve as reminders of the false sense of security that Vault Tech sold to the public. The dissonance between the upbeat, pre war world and the grim aftermath of the bombs creates a poignant reflection on the fragility of human hopes. Fact 103: one of the most important concepts in Fallout is the idea of radiation, which plays a central role in both the game's lore and its gameplay. Radiation, which once represented the destructive power of nuclear weapons, is also a source of strange mutations and new life forms in the wasteland. Creatures like the rad scorpions and the terrifying deathclaws owe their existence to the power of radiation. The theme of radiation is a metaphor for both the devastation caused by nuclear war and the strange, unpredictable evolution of life in its wake. Radiation represents both the destruction and the ongoing resilience of the world. Fact 104: one of the most iconic weapons in the Fallout series is the Fat Man, a handheld catapult that launches miniature nuclear warheads. Initially developed for military purposes, the Fat Man has become a symbol of the absurdity and tragedy of the post apocalyptic world. The power to launch a nuclear bomb from a single small device reflects the world's descent into chaos and destruction. In the hands of the player, the Fat Man represents the dangerous allure of power and the unpredictable consequences of wielding such destructive force in a world already broken beyond recognition. Fact 105: the Fallout games often explore the question of what it means to rebuild after total destruction, and one of the most interesting characters in this regard is the character of the Sole Survivor from Fallout 4. The Sole Survivor's journey begins in the wake of a catastrophic personal loss, the destruction of their home and family, and continues as they search for meaning in a world that no longer makes sense. The Sole Survivor's quest to find their missing child is a story of both hope and despair as they navigate the wasteland, trying to build something new from the ashes of the past. Fact 106: the Fallout series is full of strange yet fascinating creatures that have mutated due to radiation, and one of the most memorable is the Yao Guai. These giant, mutated bears were once a normal species, but radiation has turned them into powerful, aggressive predators. Despite their terrifying nature, Yao Guai also embody the strange beauty of the mutated creatures in the wasteland, reminders of how life, even in its most altered forms, continues to find a way to survive. Their presence in the wasteland adds to the eerie, unpredictable feeling that pervades the world where nothing can be fully understood or tamed. Fact 107: one of the most emotionally complex characters in the Fallout universe is Piper Wright, the journalist who runs the Diamond City radio station in Fallout 4. Piper is a beacon of hope and resilience in a world that often seems devoid of both. Despite the chaos and danger that surrounds her, she holds on to her ideals and continues to fight for justice and truth. Piper's story is a reminder that even in the most broken of worlds, there are those who remain dedicated to making a difference. Her optimism and determination make her a valuable ally to the sole survivor and a symbol of hope for those who have lost everything. Fact 108: one of the more sinister factions in Fallout is the Enclave, a militaristic group that believes in the supremacy of pre-war America. The Enclave sees itself as the rightful ruler of the wasteland, and its members are dedicated to restoring the old world through any means necessary. However, the Enclave's obsession with power and control makes them a dangerous faction, one that often views others as disposable tools in their quest for domination. The Enclave's presence in the Fallout universe is a stark reminder of how the thirst for power and the desire to restore civilization can often lead to tyranny and destruction. Fact 109: one of the most heart-wrenching aspects of the Fallout series is the exploration of the cost of survival. In a world where resources are scarce and danger lurks around every corner, survival often comes at the expense of one's morals and ideals. This theme is most clearly seen in Fallout: New Vegas, where the player must navigate a fractured world of competing factions, each with its own vision for the future. Whether the player sides with the New California Republic, Caesar's Legion, or the independent factions of New Vegas, the cost of survival is always evident and rarely easy to bear. Fact 110: a key element of Fallout is its deep integration of history and world building, particularly through the remnants of pre-war America. The ruined cities, the decaying advertisements, and the scattered relics of a once thriving society all paint a vivid picture of what life was like before the Great War. The presence of these remnants serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of human civilization, as well as the unintended consequences of technological advancement. Fallout asks players to reflect on the past, the choices made, and the lessons that were, and often still are, forgotten in the face of humanity's most destructive tendencies. Fact 111: the theme of identity is central to the Fallout universe, particularly with the introduction of synths in Fallout 4. Synths are bioengineered beings created by the Institute to resemble humans, and they often struggle with the concept of their own humanity. As artificial beings, they face existential questions about their purpose and rights, sparking debates about what makes someone human. The synth's story invites players to reflect on the nature of identity, free will, and whether or not something created for a specific purpose can transcend that origin and become something more meaningful in the eyes of those around them. Fact 112: in Fallout, New Vegas, one of the most fascinating and mysterious figures is Benny, the charismatic and manipulative leader of the Chairman faction. Benny's story is one of betrayal and ambition as he plots to control the future of the Mojave Wasteland through his manipulation of the events surrounding the New Vegas Strip. His charming demeanor contrasts sharply with his ruthless methods, making him a complex character who embodies the darker side of leadership. Benny's story serves as a reminder that power can often be pursued through deceit and that personal ambitions can shatter the lives of others. Fact 113. One of the most defining elements of the Fallout series is the impact of the Great War on the world. The war, which devastated the Earth in just a matter of hours, left behind not only physical destruction, but also psychological scars that would linger for generations. Entire cities were wiped from existence, and the remnants of civilization became the ruins of a forgotten world. The consequences of this global conflict shape every aspect of the Fallout universe, where the struggle for survival is intertwined with the memory of what was lost and the hope that something better can be built from the ashes. Fact 114. One of the most powerful factions in Fallout. New Vegas is the New California Republic, NCR, a group that seeks to restore order and democracy to the wasteland. The NCR represents the ideals of the pre war world: democracy, law, and order. But their presence in the Mojave is fraught with tension. The NCR's desire to expand and restore the old government often clashes with other factions, like Caesar's Legion, who seek to impose their own vision of power. The NCR's journey reflects the complexity of rebuilding society after an apocalypse, where even the noblest of goals can become tainted by the realities of survival. Fact 715. A key theme in Fallout is the exploration of human nature in the face of extreme adversity. In Fallout 3, the player encounters the story of the Megaton town and the possibility of its destruction, which presents a moral dilemma. Megaton is a small community built around an unexploded nuclear bomb, and its fate is tied to the player's actions. The decision to destroy or protect the town forces players to consider what it means to protect others in a world that values survival above all else. It's a powerful moment that underscores the emotional complexity of the choices players must make in the wasteland. Fact 116. One of the most fascinating features of the Fallout universe is the diverse range of creatures that inhabit the wasteland. From the terrifying Deathclaws to the eerie glowing ones, the mutated creatures in Fallout serve as both obstacles and reminders of the chaos wrought by nuclear war. These creatures are often the result of radiation and the unpredictable mutations it causes, representing both the danger and resilience of life in the wasteland. Despite their monstrous appearance, many of these creatures, like the radroaches and the Yao Guai, are simply surviving in the harsh world left behind, struggling to find their place in a new post-apocalyptic ecosystem. Fact 117. The Fallout series is filled with deep and rich world building, and one of the most memorable locations in Fallout 4 is the Diamond City. Built inside Fenway Park, this bustling settlement is a haven in the midst of the wasteland, serving as a hub of commerce, culture, and conflict. Despite its vibrancy, Diamond City is not without its challenges, including political intrigue, corruption, and the looming threat of the Institute. Diamond City is a reflection of the ongoing struggle to create stability in a chaotic world, where even the most well-intentioned communities can become rife with internal strife and moral compromise. Fact 118. One of the most tragic stories in Fallout, New Vegas, is that of the Mojave Outpost, a military base that was once a symbol of the new California Republic's hope for expansion. Over time, however, the outpost becomes a symbol of the NCR's decline. The once proud military base is left in a state of disrepair, its soldiers demoralized and stretched thin. The outpost's downfall is a commentary on the fragility of institutions in the wasteland and a reminder of the immense strain that survival places on even the most organized and well intentioned factions. It also highlights the impermanence of hope in a shattered world. Fact 119: the Fallout series is filled with characters whose stories revolve around personal redemption, and one such character is the ghoul named Fox from Fallout 3. Fox was once a human, but after exposure to radiation, he was transformed into a ghoul, a form of mutated, radioactive survivor. Unlike many other ghouls, Fox retains his intelligence and kindness, offering the player a sense of hope amidst the suffering. His journey is a story of overcoming the pain of transformation and finding a new sense of purpose. Fox embodies the series' theme of redemption, showing that even in the darkest of circumstances, there is the possibility for change and growth. Fact 120: the Fallout universe is filled with factions, each with its own vision for the future. One of the most intriguing factions is the Followers of the Apocalypse, a group dedicated to healing the wasteland through knowledge and compassion. The followers believe that by restoring the flow of information and providing medical assistance, they can help rebuild the world. Their selfless work contrasts sharply with the more power driven factions like Caesar's Legion and the Brotherhood of Steel. The follower's story is a reflection of the theme of hope in Fallout, that even in the aftermath of destruction, humanity's capacity for empathy and cooperation can still provide a path forward. Fact 121: one of the most unsettling aspects of the Fallout universe is the prevalence of the supermutants, terrifying creatures born from the forced evolutionary virus, FEV. Originally created by the US government as part of an attempt to create the perfect soldier, the supermutants are a tragic example of scientific experimentation gone awry. In Fallout 3, the player encounters the supermutants in the capital wasteland, where they are shown to be both monstrous and human in their desires. Their existence raises uncomfortable questions about the cost of progress and the unintended consequences of tampering with life on such a scale. Fact 122: in Fallout, New Vegas, one of the more philosophical factions is the Boomers, a group of survivalists who have isolated themselves from the rest of the wasteland in the hopes of preserving their way of life. They believe that the best way to rebuild is by embracing the militaristic tactics of the past, such as stockpiling weapons and fortifying their position. While their isolationist approach is driven by a fear of the outside world, it also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of holding on too tightly to the past. The Boomer's story reflects the theme of survival at all costs, even when it means sacrificing human connection. Fact 123: one of the most iconic aspects of Fallout is the vaults, underground shelters designed to protect citizens from the fallout of a nuclear war. While some vaults were truly intended to save lives, many were actually the sites of bizarre and morally questionable experiments. For example, Vault 77 was designed as a social experiment, with only one person living inside it. Forced to live alone for years, the resident was pushed to the brink of madness. The vaults serve as a metaphor for humanity's attempt to control fate, and how, even in the most controlled environments, unpredictability always finds a way in. Fact 124. The theme of loss is central to the Fallout series, and it is most poignantly explored through the character of the Lone Wanderer in Fallout 3. The Lone Wanderer's journey is motivated by a search for their father, who has disappeared from their vault under mysterious circumstances. Along the way, the player uncovers the emotional weight of their past, the loss of loved ones, the destruction of their home, and the unrelenting toll of the wasteland. The Lone Wanderer's quest is a deeply personal one, and it highlights the overarching Fallout theme that in a world torn apart by war, even the smallest act of survival requires immense personal sacrifice. Fact 125. Fallout. New Vegas introduces players to the concept of the Mojave Wasteland, an area torn between various factions vying for control. The land is rich with history, having been the site of many battles between the NCR, Caesar's Legion, and independent factions like the Great Khans and the New Vegas Strip. The Mojave represents the fractured state of the world post-apocalypse, where no faction truly represents the best interest of the people. In this chaotic land, the player must navigate allegiances and choose who they will trust, all while trying to forge their own path to survival. Fact 106. The Fallout series is filled with moments of irony, and one of the most notable examples of this is the tale of the wasteland's many helpers. Robots like Mr. Gutsy, who were originally created to assist humans, are now forced to serve a post-apocalyptic world where their former purpose has been all but forgotten. In Fallout 3, players can find Mr. Gutsy units still patrolling the capital wasteland, their robotic minds locked in an endless cycle of misguided loyalty. Their unflagging dedication to their lost mission in such a cruel world highlights the haunting persistence of purpose and duty, even in a world without humans. Fact 127. One of the most tragic characters in the Fallout series is Moira Brown from Fallout 3, a hopeful, optimistic entrepreneur who runs the Craterside supply shop in Megaton. Moira is an eternally optimistic figure who refuses to give in to despair, even in the most hopeless of circumstances. Her role in the wasteland as a trader and quest giver represents the delicate balance between survival and hope. Moira's unwavering optimism serves as both a comfort and a reminder that even in the most broken of worlds, people still find ways to rebuild and make connections, even when the odds are stacked against them. Fact 128. One of the unique aspects of the Fallout series is its approach to morality, with the karma system allowing players to shape their character's fate based on their decisions. The system tracks whether the player's actions are good, evil, or neutral, creating a dynamic experience where choices have lasting consequences. For example, helping the people of Megaton in Fallout 3 will earn the player good karma, while destroying the town for personal gain will lead to bad karma. This system forces players to think carefully about the decisions they make, as even the smallest actions can lead to profound consequences in the wasteland. Fact 129. One of the most innovative features of Fallout, New Vegas, is the addition of companions, who play a crucial role in the player's journey. Each companion, like Boone, Veronica, or Cass, has their own backstory, personality, and set of beliefs, and their stories are woven into the larger narrative of the game. These companions offer both practical help and emotional depth, providing the player with allies who are just as complex and conflicted as the factions they interact with. The companionship in Fallout highlights the importance of human connection in the wasteland where trust and loyalty are invaluable. Fact 130: the world of Fallout is filled with both tragedy and humor, and one of the most memorable characters who embodies this duality is the mysterious stranger. Appearing in Fallout 3 as a rare companion who saves the player in moments of danger, the mysterious stranger is a quiet, enigmatic figure whose motives are unclear. His unexpected appearances often come at the most opportune moments, leaving players to wonder whether his interventions are driven by fate or chance. The mysterious stranger is an embodiment of the Fallout series' ability to mix absurdity and pathos, offering moments of relief and mystery amid the harshest circumstances. Fact 131: one of the most enduring themes in the Fallout series is the notion of power, both personal and institutional. One of the most dangerous factions in the wasteland is Caesar's Legion, a brutal authoritarian group that seeks to conquer the Mojave wasteland by force. The Legion, led by the self proclaimed Caesar, uses fear, slavery, and brutal discipline to impose their vision of order. Their system of rule is inspired by the Roman Empire, but it is marked by cruelty and absolute control. The Legion represents the darker side of the quest for power, where the means of maintaining control can be just as destructive as the wars that caused the devastation in the first place. Fact 132: the Fallout universe is filled with moral ambiguity, and one of the most intriguing examples of this is the story of the Brotherhood of Steel. Initially, founded as a group dedicated to preserving and protecting technology, the Brotherhood's role in the wasteland evolves as they become more isolationist and focused on hoarding knowledge. Their obsession with technology and their willingness to use it to maintain their dominance raises questions about the true nature of their mission. In a world where technology can be both a tool for salvation and a weapon of destruction, the Brotherhood represents the duality of progress. Fact 133: in Fallout New Vegas, the player encounters the mysterious character of Benny, the leader of the Chairman faction in New Vegas. Benny is a charismatic but treacherous figure, one who hides his manipulative nature beneath a charming exterior. He is responsible for betraying the player early in the game, setting off a chain of events that will determine the fate of the Mojave wasteland. Benny's actions are driven by ambition and greed, and his story highlights the dangers of unchecked ambition and the complexity of morality in a world where trust is a luxury few can afford. Fact 134: one of the most tragic stories in Fallout is the fate of the Vault Dweller in Fallout 1. The Vault Dweller is a survivor of Vault 13, a vault that was designed to remain sealed in the event of a nuclear war. However, when the vault's water chip fails, the Vault Dweller is sent out into the wasteland to find a replacement. The story of the Vault Dweller is one of survival, but also one of loss, as the Vault Dweller must leave behind the only home they have ever known to venture into a world they know nothing about. It is a story of sacrifice and courage in the face of overwhelming uncertainty. Fact 135: the Fallout series is known for its unique sense of humor, and one of the more humorous elements is the presence of quirky, over the top characters who populate the wasteland. One of the most amusing is the character of Moira Brown, a cheerful and optimistic trader in Fallout 3 who runs a shop in Megaton. Moira is endlessly curious and enthusiastic, even as the world around her falls apart. Her personality provides a welcome respite from the more grim aspects of the game, and her eccentricity makes her a memorable character in the Fallout universe. Fact 136. The Fallout universe is filled with fascinating and often bizarre factions, but one of the most complex is the Institute. Hidden beneath the Commonwealth, the Institute is a secretive and advanced scientific organization responsible for creating synths, biologically engineered beings designed to resemble humans. The Institute's work is driven by a desire to improve humanity, but their methods often raise ethical questions about the nature of life and free will. The Institute is a symbol of the dangers of unchecked scientific progress and the moral dilemmas that arise when technology begins to replace humanity itself. Fact 137. In Fallout 4, the player encounters one of the most emotionally complex characters in the series, Nick Valentine, a synth detective who was created by the Institute. Nick's story is one of personal struggle as he grapples with his artificial origins and the ways in which he differs from the humans around him. Despite being a synth, Nick retains his sense of morality and his commitment to justice, showing that even in a world filled with technological manipulation and betrayal, the desire to do what is right remains a fundamental part of the human experience. Fact 138. One of the most iconic locations in the Fallout series is the ruined city of Washington, D.C. in Fallout 3. The Capital Wasteland is a desolate and dangerous place, filled with remnants of the old world, including iconic landmarks like the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. These ruins serve as a poignant reminder of the fragility of civilization as well as the ravages of nuclear war. The Capital Wasteland is both beautiful and haunting, a place where history and the present collide in a constant reminder of what was lost in the Great War. Fact 139. One of the most tragic elements of the Fallout series is the presence of ghouls, humans who have been mutated by radiation, often losing their mental faculties in the process. Some ghouls, like the character of Fox in Fallout 3, retain their intellect and humanity despite their disfigurement. However, most ghouls are relegated to the fringes of society, feared and shunned by those who still retain their human form. Ghouls represent the harsh realities of radiation and the dehumanizing effects it has on those it touches. They also highlight the theme of survival, as ghouls often endure decades or even centuries after the war has ended. Fact 140. The Fallout series is known for its complex and sometimes morally ambiguous factions, and one of the most fascinating is the Enclave. The Enclave is a secretive group that believes they are the rightful heirs to the pre-war United States government. They view themselves as the last remnants of a great nation, and their mission is to restore the old world order at any cost. The Enclave is a representation of how the desire to preserve one's vision of the past can lead to dangerous extremes, as their methods of achieving their goals often involve violence and cruelty toward anyone who stands in their way. Fact 141. One of the most unsettling elements of the Fallout universe is the presence of vaults, designed to shelter humanity from the apocalyptic fallout, but often used for nefarious purposes. Vault 111, for example, in Fallout 4, was a vault where its inhabitants were placed into cryogenic stasis, only to wake up years later to find that they were the subjects of a twisted experiment. The vaults, meant to protect, often become prisons or laboratories, exploring the dark side of human nature. Their creation reveals how people, in the face of catastrophe, are sometimes subjected to horrific yet fascinating trials that reflect the worst of humanity's ambitions. Fact 142: the Fallout universe is filled with stories of individual survival and resilience, and one of the most striking examples is the story of Dogmeat, the loyal canine companion. Throughout multiple Fallout games, Dogmeat stands as a symbol of companionship, loyalty, and perseverance. No matter the odds or how dangerous the wasteland becomes, Dogmeat is always by the player's side, offering solace in a desolate world. His unwavering loyalty reminds players of the simple yet profound connection that can exist between man and animal, even in a world that has been torn apart by war and devastation. Fact 143: one of the most iconic aspects of the Fallout series is the sense of nostalgia that permeates the world. Pre war advertisements, radios playing 1950s music, and the relics of a bygone era are scattered throughout the wasteland. This contrast between the vibrant, hopeful past and the grim present serves as a powerful reminder of the fleeting nature of civilization. In the face of such overwhelming destruction, players can't help but reflect on what was lost. The wasteland is not just a physical place, it's a world steeped in memory, where the past haunts the present and the future is uncertain. Fact 144: one of the more morally complex factions in Fallout is the New California Republic, NCR, which seeks to bring democracy and order to the post apocalyptic world. Though they strive to rebuild the ideals of the pre war United States, the NCR's expansionist policies and bureaucratic inefficiencies often lead to unintended consequences. In Fallout New Vegas, the NCR's attempts to assert control over the Mojave Wasteland place them at odds with other factions, leading to questions about whether their vision of a restored government is worth the sacrifice. The NCR represents the challenges of rebuilding society when the past and present collide in a fractured world. Fact 145: one of the most haunting aspects of the Fallout universe is the pervasive sense of loss. In Fallout 3, the player is thrust into a world where the remnants of pre war civilization are everywhere, yet they are unrecognizable. Landmarks such as the Capitol building and the White House lie in ruins, symbols of a once great nation that now serves as a tragic reminder of what humanity has lost. These monuments of the past stand as silent witnesses to the devastation of the Great War, a world forever altered, where the past's mistakes echo into the present. Fact 146: the Fallout series is filled with fascinating creatures, many of which are the result of radiation-induced mutations. One of the most memorable and terrifying creatures is the Deathclaw, a massive reptilian creature created through the effects of the forced evolutionary virus. These monsters, once created for military purposes, have become some of the most dangerous threats in the wasteland. Their massive claws and powerful attacks make them formidable adversaries. The Deathclaws also serve as a reminder of the unintended consequences of tampering with nature and how science, when misused, can create horrors that society is ill equipped to deal with. Fact 147: one of the most poignant characters in Fallout is the character of Fox, a super mutant in Fallout 3 who retains his intellect and compassion despite his monstrous form. Fox's backstory is one of tragedy and resilience, as he was created by the government as part of a flawed experiment to produce super soldiers. Unlike many of his fellow super mutants, Fox maintains his humanity and serves as an ally to the player, showing that even in the most terrifying of circumstances, it is possible to hold on to one's morality and kindness. Fox's journey is a testament to the idea that redemption is possible for all, regardless of the past. Fact 148. The Fallout universe is filled with fascinating and often dangerous factions, and one of the most complex is the Institute. Beneath the Commonwealth lies this highly advanced group, responsible for creating synths, humanoid robots that are indistinguishable from humans. The Institute's drive to perfect humanity through technology makes them both revered and feared. Their actions blur the line between technological progress and ethical responsibility, as they see themselves as the saviors of mankind. However, their experiments come at a high cost, raising fundamental questions about the nature of humanity, free will, and the morality of creating life for the sake of progress. Fact 149. The Fallout series is filled with characters whose personal stories are shaped by the harsh realities of the wasteland, and one of the most interesting and tragic is Veronica, a companion in Fallout, New Vegas. Veronica is a member of the Brotherhood of Steel, but she becomes disillusioned with their ideals and seeks a new path. Her story is one of personal growth, as she learns to reconcile her loyalty to the Brotherhood with her desire to make a difference in a world that has been irrevocably changed. Veronica's journey reflects the theme of self-discovery as she grapples with who she is and what she truly believes. Fact 150. The Fallout series excels at creating complex, morally ambiguous characters, and one of the most memorable is Caesar, the leader of Caesar's Legion. Modeled after the Roman Empire, Caesar leads a ruthless, expansionist faction that seeks to conquer the Mojave Wasteland by force. Caesar's character is fascinating because of his unshakable belief in his own vision of the future. He sees himself as a ruler destined to restore order to the world, but his methods, slavery, conquest, and terror make him a deeply flawed and dangerous figure. Caesar's story is a reflection of the costs of power and the dangers of absolute control. Fact 151. One of the most beloved elements of the Fallout series is the mix of hope and despair that permeates every part of the wasteland. Fallout 4 presents the theme of family through the tragic journey of the sole survivor who wakes up from cryogenic sleep to find that their spouse has been murdered and their child kidnapped. This loss is the driving force behind the player's quest. As they venture through the wasteland, they encounter other characters who have lost loved ones or seek to reunite with their families, making the journey a deeply personal one, a reflection of the resilience of human connections even in the face of devastation. Fact 152. One of the most unforgettable figures in the Fallout series is Three Dog, the radio DJ in Fallout 3, who runs the Galaxy News radio station. With his unmistakable voice and irreverent personality, Three Dog offers a mix of news, commentary, and entertainment amidst the wasteland's chaos. His broadcasts are a lifeline for the player, providing moments of levity in a world full of suffering. Three Dog's role in the game highlights the importance of communication and connection, even when the world has been shattered by nuclear war. He represents a small but vital piece of pre-war culture, keeping the past alive through his words. Fact 153. In Fallout, New Vegas, players encounter the intriguing and complex character of Mr. House, the enigmatic owner of the New Vegas Strip. Mr. House is a pre-war businessman who has managed to preserve his life through the use of advanced technology, running his empire from a high-tech control room. He serves as a symbol of the persistence of power and the desire to retain control in a broken world. Mr. House's cold, calculating demeanor and his willingness to manipulate others for his own gain make him a fascinating figure, raising questions about the ethics of using technology to maintain authority over others. Fact 154. One of the most eerie aspects of Fallout is the continued existence of pre war technology in the post apocalyptic world. Throughout the wasteland, players find machines, weapons, and other devices that were once common but now seem out of place in the aftermath of the Great War. This technology often becomes a double edged sword. It can help survivors rebuild and survive, but it also has the potential to destroy. The iconic Pip-Boy, a wrist mounted computer used by the player, is a perfect example of this. Once a symbol of convenience, it now serves as a reminder of the advanced technology that helped cause the world's downfall. Fact 155. One of the most tragic and emotionally powerful quests in Fallout 3 is the search for the player's father, James. The player begins their journey in the vault, unaware of the reasons for their father's disappearance. Over the course of the game, the story unfolds as the player discovers that James had been searching for a solution to the wasteland's water crisis by locating the Project Purity facility. His death and the player's eventual discovery of his legacy serve as a poignant reminder of the lengths people will go to in order to make the world a better place, even if they don't live to see it. Fact 156. The Fallout universe is filled with powerful and dangerous creatures, many of which are the result of radiation and genetic mutations. One such creature is the Mirelurk, a mutated, crab-like monster that inhabits the wasteland's waterways. The Mirelurks are often encountered in swamps and coastal areas, where they lurk beneath the water's surface, waiting to ambush unsuspecting travelers. These creatures are a reminder of how the natural world has been forever altered by nuclear radiation. The Mirelurk's existence shows the unpredictable nature of mutation, how life adapts in strange, violent ways, and how humanity's destructive choices have rippled through the ecosystem. Fact 157. One of the most iconic and terrifying factions in Fallout is the Brotherhood of Steel, a group that seeks to preserve pre-war technology and use it to maintain order in the wasteland. The Brotherhood has a reputation for being both technologically advanced and fiercely isolationist, often clashing with other factions over the control of valuable resources. Despite their noble goal of protecting humanity from itself, their obsession with power and technology often leads them into morally gray territory. The Brotherhood's role in the Fallout universe is a commentary on the dangerous allure of power and the temptation to control knowledge for the sake of protection and dominance. Fact 158. One of the most symbolic and emotionally resonant locations in Fallout 4 is the ruins of the sole survivor's home, Sanctuary Hills. Once a peaceful neighborhood, now it lies in ruins, abandoned by all but the player. This location serves as a reminder of the life that was lost in the Great War. The sole survivor's return to this place is not just a physical journey, but an emotional one as well. Sanctuary Hills represents the memory of the past, a past that is irretrievably lost, but still echoes in the player's mind as they struggle to rebuild and find hope in the wasteland. Fact 159. One of the most memorable characters in Fallout is Dogmeat, the faithful dog companion who appears in Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Fallout New Vegas. Dogmeat's loyalty and courage make him an invaluable companion, offering comfort and companionship in a world that is often isolating and hostile. His presence provides a sense of normalcy and emotional warmth in the midst of chaos. In a world where human connections are fragile and fleeting, Dogmeat's unwavering loyalty is a reminder of the simple yet profound bonds that can form between creatures, transcending the violence and devastation of the wasteland. Fact 160. The Fallout series is ultimately about survival, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and morally. The players are often faced with difficult choices that affect the fate of the wasteland and its inhabitants. Whether it's deciding whether to help a desperate survivor or choosing which faction to align with, each decision has lasting consequences. Fallout asks the player to reflect on what it means to survive in a world that has been broken beyond repair. The series is a meditation on the costs of survival, the sacrifices we make to preserve what is good, and the choices that define who we become in the face of destruction. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Fallout universe. May the quiet stories of survival, resilience, and the echoes of a world lost help soothe your mind as you drift toward sleep. Remember, even in the darkest of times, there is always a spark of hope. Take a deep breath, let go of the day's worries, and let your body relax into the gentle embrace of rest. The wasteland may be vast and unpredictable, but in this moment you are safe. Good night. May your dreams be peaceful and full of light.